And welcome back to coverage here in San Antonio. We're at the Grand Prix. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined in the booth by Jacob Van Lunen, and we have one of the decks that we really like, don't we, Jake? Willie Adel on the right-hand side of your screen. He is playing a very aggressive version of the Jund deck. He's playing against Matthew Thurber, and he's led with a Swamp. We don't know what he's on. Likely Zombies, red-black.
Deathrite Shaman coming down for Willie Adel.
Yeah, he led off with a Gravecrawler, and he gets to attack with that and then play the Deathrite Shaman. Right, sure enough, a Knight of Infamy, a card that's made a very big impact over the last 2 weekends of GPs from Charleston all the way here to San Antonio. And Willie says, yeah, I'll trade off for either one of these guys for that. Matt does not accept the invitation to trade. He just said just takes 3 damage, excuse me, and Willie follows up with 2 more Deathrite Shamans and a Swamp, so mono Deathrite Shaman aggro here for Willie Adel. He is sitting at 10-2 with a list that Jake and I took a pretty good look at and really felt like it was well positioned for the current meta.
You know, Willie gonna fall down to 14 here. Double Exalted triggers.
Willie's deck certainly doesn't care at all, or at least much at all, about the Knight of Infamies in the sense that they don't interact with his deck in a super meaningful way. They're just a 2-1 with Exalted against him. And Willie says, Elf Shaman beatdown time. Attacks for 5.
Yeah, I mean, Matt can't really block, but those Knight of Infamies are very reasonable in the racing department here.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
Willie Adel now has Matthew Thurber down to 10 life. Falconwrath Aristocrat comes down for Matthew. You can get in there for 6 with the Aristocrat just by itself. The Aristocrat's going to be pretty tough for Willie to deal with, actually.
Yeah.
One of the better cards against his deck.
For sure. Had a quick chat with Brian Kilber before the round started. He said that some of the people that didn't make day 2 now have a better record than he does. All right, looks like Matthew's just going to turn everybody sideways, though. He wants the full 8 damage. He says, look, I'm not going to block anyway. So we're just going to battle with the whole team here. It's going to knock Willie down to 6, and it's going to put Willie in a pretty poor position. It is a Thundermaw Hellkite, and that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he's going to scoop it up. So it looked like Willie needed that land as well as he kind of double take and played it. And Willie Adel is able to pick up game 1 there in what ended up being a really tight race.
Yeah. I love Willie Adel's deck.
Yeah, his deck is awesome.
That's what we're missing. Knight of Infamy.
So what do you like about this deck, Jake?
So, okay, Willie Adel's deck is similar to the Jund mid-range decks we saw in the first few weeks of the format, which were based on the dominant deck from the Block Constructed season.
Mm-hmm.
The Jund deck in Block Constructed was far and away the best deck, to the extent that it was it was almost a little coup if any other deck 4-0'd a daily ever.
Yeah.
For my column, I was often looking at the daily list from all the different formats, and if you had, over the course of a week, maybe 20 4-0 lists from Innistrad Block Constructed, 19 to 20 of them would be the Jund deck. Now,
wow, that's a ridiculous. At the World Magic Cup as well, we saw a portion that was that block, and it was the same thing. Everybody was playing Jund.
All right, so but Willie's playing a much more aggressive version of that deck that can become the mid-range deck post-board, making him really strong against more aggressive decks. Now, double Diregraph Ghoul and a Pillar of Flame for.
Player Diamond, your parents for round 3 are now up. TCG Player Diamond.
Red-black player right now. Now, Willie might just be forced to trade here. No, instead choosing to take 4. Searing Spear. Willie now at 14.
I think this is our quick look here. Tyler Lytle on the left, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I guess this...
Yeah, versus Dominic Ortiz.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tyler is, I believe, the only undefeated player left in the field. I think he is still undefeated. Let me get a quick check on that. Yeah, undefeated Tyler Lytle. He's playing against Dominic Ortiz. Now, Dominic is, we just mentioned, he's only been playing Magic for 5 months.
Sitting here at X1.
Yeah, we did coverage of his match last round or the round before that, and you and I noticed that he made a couple of kind of questionable plays, and we're making sure that was noted. And his friend came by and said, "Look, the guy's been playing for a few months. He wasn't even aware that this was like a big money tournament. He was not aware that you could get a Pro Tour invite. So he just came out because there's a Magic tournament, and
he's only won F&M once.
He's won F&M once. So this is an insane run for Dominic here. He has really put together a string of victories.
We just made a Magic player for life.
Yeah, for sure. That is how this works. So you see this in other games too. They have early success in a big tournament and say, "This is easy. I'm going to keep doing this." Hopefully Dominic can hold on down the stretch here, as it's just a great story. We're in game 1 here, and there is the Falconwrath Aristocrat. We've seen Tyler Lytle masterfully pilot this red-black deck. He really seems to have a great hold on how this deck works. We saw him play in the mirror and defeat his very good friend Will Craddock in the last game yesterday.
Tyler Lytle also impeccable penmanship. I noted that yesterday.
Yeah.
I love his deck list. So nice.
So Dominic won that game? Okay, so we had the life totals weren't updated properly, but Dominic did win that game, is what we're told.
Oh, Dominic was on the left.
Must have been.
Okay.
All right, so Willie Adel on the right-hand side of the screen versus Matthew Thurber on the left. Yeah, I really like Willie Adel's deck list a lot, too. And he's put up pretty respectable numbers so far.
Yeah, 10-2. Pretty good record at the Grand Prix.
Uh-huh.
With 3 buys, Willie.
A 4-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor?
Yeah, 4-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor. 3-time Grand Prix Top 8 competitor. That's a really impressive resume.
Yeah,
this is a guy who knows his way around some Magic cards.
He, in fact, top 8'd the last Pro Tour that we had, which was in Seattle, Pro Tour Return to Ravnica. He was playing Jund there as well. Now, that was modern format, so the deck plays significantly different, but same color base and some similar cards, too, both running Deathrite Shaman. All right, Matthew Thurber's going to battle with his turn 1 Gravecrawler. Willie Adel just had an Overgrown Tomb tapped. He didn't play anything, and it looks like a Guild Gate for Matthew Thurber. I still can't believe people are playing those, but I guess it's a necessary evil in these decks.
When you're playing Geralt's Messenger, Hellrider, and Thundermaw Hellkite,
you just need it, huh?
You need it.
Yep, fair enough. Another Overgrown Tomb tapped for Willie Adel, and also he's going to play a Deathrite Shaman. One of the sweet new cards to come out of Return to Ravnica. It made a huge impact in Modern. The fact that there's rarely lands in the graveyard means it's not a complete staple in Standard, but it certainly still serves a nice role and helps not only further a game plan of beating down your opponent, but it also can help keep you alive, and at the same time, it can thwart some game plans like Unburial Rites and Snapcaster Mage. Really great 1-drop. All right, so Geralf's Messenger for Matthew Thurber drops Willie down to 14, and how is he going to follow up here? Looks like he has a Lotleth Troll there.
That's a pretty good one.
Lotleth Troll is excellent. It's a 2/1 with Trample. You can pay a black to regenerate it, and you can discard a creature card from your hand to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So this makes generally speaking, it makes combat pretty tough for your opponent. Although a Geralf's Messenger is pretty reckless. Usually people just throw them in. Doesn't care if it dies or not.
And Gravecrawler, same way.
Same exact way, especially when you know you're going to have that thing anyway. All right, so he Pillar of Flames the
Deathrite Shaman.
The Deathrite Shaman, just to get it out of the way, I suppose. Also, by doing that, he prevents Willie from being able to remove the Messenger with the trigger on the stack, although if that were the play, then Willie would be losing his Lotleth Troll in the transaction. So Willie didn't have the world there, but he certainly has some reasonable plays here. And in fact, he's going to block the messenger and regenerate his Lotleth Troll.
Yep.
That's going to tap it.
10 here.
Yep, and he's going to drop down to 10 after the trigger from the Giralf's messenger and the damage from the Gravecrawler. So Matthew Thurber doing his job here, applying a lot of pressure. Taking out the Deathrite Shaman meant that the Gravecrawler got to come in for damage as well. We've consistently seen the red-black deck use its burn spells to take out opposing creatures to clear the way for its awesome suite of creatures, especially in the later part of the game. But
yeah, Willie in these post-boarded games does have Huntmaster of the Fells in his deck. Currently no red mana, but also has cards like Olivia Voldaren. Another Lotleth Troll coming down. No land, though, for Willie.
Good.
Willie can discard a creature card, pumping one of these Lotleth Trolls, making it big enough to block the Giralf's messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Giralf's messenger, one of the premier creature cards in current standard format.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one of the better creatures ever printed, even.
It's a fantastic creature. I mean, and I think it's actually a really well-made, awesome card because it does cost triple black. It's not like you just throw this in any deck. You really do have to have a deck that wants this type of card. And even then, you know, like we see these Guild Gates on Matthew's side of the board, and those are a result of him having cards like Giralf's Messenger in the deck. You know, he's got to warp his deck around the mana base around that messenger, and I like that. I think that's appropriate when you get a card of that power level for only 3 mana.
I agree.
We are still taking signups.
So he's just shipped the turn back, and it looks like Willie is missing his land drops again. He has a lot of red cards in the deck, and he doesn't seem to have access to red mana currently. And he just has to pass the turn back. He cannot be happy about that, although, you know, he didn't get attacked the previous turn. So if things stay the same.
Mana in Willie's deck, so unlikely that he would be in this situation 2 games in a row.
He does have the double Lotleth Troll there. I'm assuming that Willie has at least a few creatures that he can throw away to the Lotleth Troll as well to grow it if he wants. And yeah, it looks like Matthew Thurber is just going to pass the turn back. So Willie is actually stable here at 10 life, although it's a precarious situation. We know that, you know, anything from a Falconwrath Aristocrat. Did he just throw away a Gravecrawler to the Lotleth Troll?
He did.
Okay. So he's going to get a dice here and put a counter on his Lotleth Troll. And this is a pretty sweet combo.
Yep.
He can. All right.
Out of it for me. Attack for 3, exalt for 3.
Okay. That's not how that works. Yeah, he still gets the counter. The trigger's on the stack, but it will still happen. So what happened is Matthew Thurber cremated the Gravecrawler with the trigger on the stack. That way, Willie never has a chance to get priority, so that he can cast the Gravecrawler from his graveyard. But the thing here is that the Lotleth Troll does in fact still get the counter. It's a nice cremate there though, because it's quite an engine that you can get there. You can just play the Gravecrawler back onto the battlefield after you get the 1 counter going, after you get the counter on it. So it's a nice little value play there from Willie Adel, but it looks like Matthew doesn't want him to have it, and in fact he does hit the Falconwrath Aristocrat. We just mentioned that, Jake, that it could be a Hellkite or an Aristocrat, and it's an Aristocrat, and it's going to drop Willie down to 6 here, and this is looking pretty good for Matthew Thurber at this point. Again, Willie still sitting without the mana that he needs, and Matthew follows up with a Diregraph Ghoul.
Interesting. That means that Matthew had either Diregraph Ghoul or Aristocrat in his hand last turn. Like him not to play either.
4.
So what does Willie have? Well, okay, that's a pretty reasonable draw. It will keep him alive for a turn. It's not a long-term game plan here, though, as the Falconwrath Aristocrat can just... Okay, there's a Mark of Mutiny anyway. And that's actually lethal. Willie's actually at 6 here. He's not at 10.
Yeah, he took 4 from the Falkenrath Aristocrat
Right.
deck last turn.
So that was lethal. 4 + 6 in the air, or 4 + 7 actually in this case. So that'll be game 2 there, going to Matthew Thurber, as Willie Adel has pretty huge mana issues. Was able to reach. I mean, calling it stable is probably going a little bit too far, but he did get at least 2 or 3 draw steps where he wasn't being attacked.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone worse, but if you're not hitting those land drops, his opponent's still drawing cards. His opponent is hitting his land drops. His opponent does have a better board. The Drolf's Messenger, it does represent more the fact that his opponent has the Falkenrath Aristocrat. Is also pretty huge. And I think that might be the one issue with Willie Adel's deck, is that he is just so weak to Falkenrath Aristocrat. I'm surprised that he doesn't have access to Tragic Slip anywhere in a 75.
Yeah, that would be
because it seems like Aristocrat is a huge hole for him. It's his deck's so strong against the aggressive decks. It's so strong against the control decks, but he can just outright lose to Falkenrath Aristocrat at basically any moment, because his deck cannot interact with the card as long as his opponent has 1 creature in play to go along with it.
Yeah,
and if he had a few Tragic Slips there,
I had a feeling that was going to happen too.
It would put him in a much better position against decks that are playing that card.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess he just couldn't quite find a free spot for it.
It's a new deck, so he built this deck out of he just built this deck.
So it's sometimes you show up to the tournament and then you get beaten by Falkenrath Aristocrat, in all of your losses or something, and you're like, go home and you say, I should probably find a way to beat that card.
Exactly.
I mean, he can certainly race it. His deck is that fast.
Jeff Zandy and Thomas Redding. Jeff Zandy and Thomas Redding, you have some outstanding silent auction bids. Please come up to the main event stage and take
All
part.
right, so players gearing up
15 minutes.
for Game 3 of Round 13 here in San Antonio, Texas. Willie Adel on the right playing a Jund aggressive deck that he's made versus really the best deck of the last couple of weeks in Matthew Thurber's hands, with it, which is red-black aggressive. It's aggressive in the sense that it wants to attack a lot, but it pushes the curve up a little bit higher than your normal full-on aggressive deck in order to get access to really, really powerful creatures like Hellrider, Falkenrath Aristocrat, and Thundermaw Hellkite.
Exactly, and I mean, the deck is still capable of scary aggressive draws. I mean, it plays 8 creatures that cost 1 mana and have 2 power. That's the industry standard for the aggro card. And those cards include Gravecrawler, and that card is some good. All right, now Willie gets to be on the play here, though, and I do like his chances in this matchup. I think he's ahead.
He's going to need to draw red mana, though,
That's
to
true.
make this work. That is the one thing that he's been missing.
Okay. Okay. Ready? We'll go to 18. Grab it. Pass turn.
Willie Adel's deck, something new, something we always like to see. Somebody battling with a deck that we haven't gotten a chance to check out before. I mean, we've seen green-black zombies, we've seen red-black zombies, we have not seen green-red-black zombies. And not really a zombie deck. I mean, he has Gravecrawler.
I mean, it's
has
as much a
Lawless
zombie
Troll.
deck as the red-black deck is a zombie deck.
Yeah, I guess he just has Lawless Troll instead of Drolf's Messenger, so
Yeah.
he has the same meta zombies. But he doesn't have Diregraph Ghoul.
So
he has even less zombies.
No, you're right. Diregraph Ghoul is the...
Oh, no, but Dragmangler's a plant, right? A plant zombie?
Yeah, I think it is. He's
So
only
we're
got
just
a
going to
couple
call
of
every
those,
deck
though.
zombies
Yeah, it's just all
forever.
zombies. Speaking of zombies, that's exactly what Matthew Thurber has named with his Cavern of Souls, and that's going to lead to a Diregraph Ghoul for his turn 1. Willie has a 2 coming to play tap lands, Rootbound Crag, followed up by a Dragon Skull Summit, and he's going to take 2 damage from this Diagraph Ghoul. And it looks like Matthew's got another Diagraph Ghoul and a Rakdos Guildgate to follow up. So Willie's under a reasonable amount of pressure here right out of the gates.
Yeah, he's gonna need to get back in this game. Huntmaster of the Fells will be really good the next turn, but now on 3, he's looking to ideally have something like Vampire Nighthawk here.
Nope, he's got a Knight of Infamy and a Blood Crypt tapped, and he's going to pass a turn back. Is he going to trade off this Knight as quick as possible?
Oh, yeah.
Just snap trade? Or is it just going to eat a Searing Spear? It does, in fact, just get Searing Speared. That's going to clear the way for 4 more damage. It's going to drop Willie down to 14. And Willie's really going to be happy if he can untap and hit a Huntmaster of the Fells here.
Yeah, that's definitely what Willie wants to be doing right now.
He wants to know how many cards Matthew Thurber has in his hand. It looks like 4.
Yeah, Huntmaster is where Willie wants to be, but we're going to have to see if that's what he has. He does have 4 Huntmaster of the Fells on the sideboard. We're pretty sure that those came in here. It's exactly the type of matchup where you want that card.
All right, Willie plays a Cavern of Souls.
Just hear any names here.
And he is paying 4 mana. It's Olivia Voldaren, however, which is going to be pretty good here, although it is open right now. All right, named Vampire so that you can cast Olivia, but it's open to a Searing Spear right now. If Matthew Thurber has a Searing Spear, he can take out Olivia before Willie has a chance to untap and really start wrecking Matthew with that Olivia. I mean,
that card is some good.
It is going to be insane. If he gets to untap, he can just start killing
things and making Olivia just massive.
Massive, like she ends up just killing you very quickly. Now, does he block here is the question. He probably does, right? If he's I mean, what are you worried about?
You're going to get 2 for 1. Like, you're going to 2 for 1 your opponent at the very worst.
Yeah.
You know.
And is there anything that's going to add on 1 extra damage? There is. It's a Bonfire of the Damned. So he did end up losing Olivia there, but like you said, he did get a 2 for 1 out of the deal, and he also prevented 2 damage from coming through.
He also got a turn out of Matthew.
He did. It took his whole turn to do that.
Had to take a whole turn to 2 for 1 himself to get rid of that Olivia.
Yeah, so that's pretty good value. The question is, what can Willie follow up with here? I think he asked him how many cards again. 1, 2, 3. All right, he's going to do 2 damage to the Diagraph Ghoul and 1 damage upstairs to Matthew Thurber, so that's going to put him at 19, and it does completely clear the board, but as we've seen many times from the red-black deck, a Searing Spear is going to take out the Falconwrath Aristocrat because he had no other creature in play to sack it to give it indestructible, so Willie gets a lot of value here by making sure that the board is clear. It made that Falconwrath Aristocrat a lot worse and let Willie 1 for 1 with the Aristocrat, which is really a tough thing to do for Willie's deck.
Yeah, Willie's deck has a lot of trouble with that card. So
that was actually a big game.
Any opportunity he has where he can kill that especially by only spending 1 card, that's kind of ridiculous.
Now I know that Willie's got a couple of Thrag Tusks in his sideboard as well, so he'll be looking to try to stick one of those if he draws one. Those are the kind of cards that are really nice to help get a cushion going, but it looks like for now it's just going to be a Hellrider and attack you. It's got to be uncomfortable to go into attack mode when you're sitting at 11 versus a deck that has as many potent threats, but you can't do that. You can't do nothing. So here he goes. All right, a Hellrider
with a Hellrider of his own.
All
right.
So is Willie going to be forced to hold back here and trade off?
It's definitely not what you want to be doing. So Willie will either, if he has the removal spell, it's obviously getting aimed immediately at the Hellrider. He may have something like Mizzium Mortars.
Mizzium Mortars. He has 3 of those in his sideboard.
But I don't know if he would have brought that in. He may have.
I mean, it's basically a 1 for 1, but it doesn't. I don't think you'd bring it in. What does it kill? Doesn't really kill Aristocrat. It doesn't kill Thundermaw Hellkite. You certainly don't want to aim it at a... I guess Hellrider's like the best possible target for it.
Yeah, and then even that's not that great because it hastes at you and gets all the triggers the turn it comes in anyway.
Yeah. So probably no mortars, but possible. All right, is this going to be a Huntmaster of the
6 to 8.
Did he tap mana, but he hasn't played anything yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. When I attack the dagger pulls, I took both.
All right, looks like we're having a little discussion here. There's a pause in the action. All right, it's a second Olivia Voldaren. It's the only other one that he has in the deck, and he's got to pass a turn back. He could have attacked with Hellrider there because he is going to get a chance to pump up Olivia, but...
Trying to play safer. I mean,
Yeah.
if he attacks with the Hellrider, then he dies to any burn spell.
That's right. Now, would you have just pinged the Hellrider right away? Oh, geez. Zealous Conscripts is going to attempt to steal Olivia Voldaren, and that is going to happen. Willie is going to take 3 from the Hellriders. He's going to take 3 more in the air, and he's going to be dead. Yep, you got it. And Willie Adel extends the hand as those threaten type effects. You know, we call those threaten effects ones where you steal your opponent's creature for a turn are huge in this format right now.
So strong.
We've seen Mark of Mutiny and Zealous Conscripts just outright steal games